Okay, calm down. Breathe. He'll be here any minute, and you've got to do this. You owe him that, at least. I look ridiculous fussing over these stupid countertops, like everything's normal. Another glance at the clock. Where is he? Maybe it'll be easier if he's a little late. Gives me another minute to. To what? Find the right words? There are no right words. Need space. The phrase rings hollow in my head. It's the best I could come up with, the least cruel-sounding way to break this. Our life. Jason's life. What the hell am I doing? A wave of nausea hits, and for a second, I think I might actually throw up this half-eaten salad that's been my dinner for the past week. Nope. Can't do that. Imagine explaining that to him. The front door slams. Jason's home. God, he smells like the little league team he coaches. A good smell, usually. One that used to make me smile. Now it just makes something clench tight in my chest. I force the smile anyway. Old habits die hard, I guess. Hey, how was the game? My voice sounds too high, too brittle. Way to play it normal, Emily. We won. Man, what a last inning. He's off and running, already lost in baseball stories, and I can't catch a breath. Like I'm drowning, and that endless monologue of his is the weight on my chest. Dinner is a blur of pretending to eat and offering the occasional, at what I assume are the right moments. He's not an idiot. Has he noticed how distant I've been? Has he connected that to Mark? My cheeks flush just thinking his name, but it's mixed with this sick twist of excitement I hate myself for. You good? You're awfully quiet. Jason finally seems to notice. Bless his simple, baseball-loving soul. Lie time. Tired. Long week. I hate my voice, the tremor in it. Okay. Well, don't stay up on my account. He heads off to the den, the TV flickering on with its familiar drone of sportscasters. My chance. I stand up, legs wobbly, and practically run for the bedroom. Headache. I offer in a pathetic attempt at an excuse, closing the door softly with a click that feels like a gunshot. Here I am, hiding like a teenager from the scary decision I've already made. Pathetic. But what else am I supposed to do? I sink onto the bed, curling into a ball with the weight of it all. There are tears, I know, but they barely register anymore. Underneath it all is this desperate buzzing. Like I'm about to jump out of my skin. Not from fear, weirdly, but this other thing. It's a damn relief, in a horrifying way, that this is finally happening. The house creaks as it settles, an accusing sound in the sudden silence. That's the thing about quiet. It gives your guilty conscience an awfully loud megaphone. Jason's truck rumbles away, and the relief is a physical thing, a tightness in my chest finally easing. Then, the shame floods in. I should be missing him, worrying about his silly little conference. Instead, the only thing prickling at my skin is the anticipation of, what? Another text from Mark? More of the breathless, dangerous conversations that are turning me into someone I don't recognize? I sink into a steaming bath, hoping the water will wash away the feeling that I'm spiraling out of control. The scent of lavender is supposed to be calming. All I smell is a desperate attempt to cover up the stink of betrayal. Mark texts, of course. Silly jokes, shared memories from a time when I thought his attention was just friendly. Now, each word crackles with a different energy. My hands shake as I type back, faster than I should. It feels like playing with fire, but the thrill outweighs the terror. For now. Days bleed together in a haze of whispers and stolen glances at my phone. I move through our routines on autopilot. Cooking, laundry, a peck on the cheek when Jason comes home. It all feels like some play I'm acting in, badly. Every time he calls me, honey, it makes me want to scream. He must sense something's off. He's less distracted now, eyes lingering on me over the dinner table. That used to feel comforting. Now, it's like he's trying to piece together something he doesn't quite see, and part of me wants him to find out. To rip the band-aid off this festering lie. But even that thought is tainted. Not because I'm brave enough to tell the truth. No, the sick part is, I'm waiting for him to slip up. A late-night text, a trace of perfume. Something that'll give me permission for this, a way to blame him when I'm the one who broke us. The phone's tucked away when he's near. I lie through my teeth about work calls and old friends catching up. He tries to bridge the gap, talking more at dinner, suggesting a movie night. Just like we used to. It's torture, this play acting of a life we both know is dead. One night, As we lie side by side in the two-big bed, his breathing even with sleep, I reach for the phone. It's a compulsion now. Each text from Mark lights a fuse in me, one I know will lead to an explosion. I just don't know yet if it'll destroy me, or set me free. I swear I haven't been this jittery since I snuck out of the house to meet boys back in high school. Maybe it's just the extra shot of espresso in my latte. Or maybe it's the fact that I'm sitting across from Mark with his disarming smile and a dangerous undercurrent humming between us that has nothing to do with caffeine. So, how's Jason? His voice is low, just for me. It makes my ears burn. Fine. Busy with the team, I mumble into my coffee, unable to meet his gaze. Lies are easier over text, less real. Now, here in this bustling cafe with sunlight glinting off his stupid handsome face, the guilt takes on a flesh and bones kind of ugliness. We talk, but it's a dance of unspoken things. Casual touches that linger too long, memories shared that only deepen whatever the hell this is between us. I laugh too loud, aware of how different I must seem from the predictable Emily he thought he knew. The thrill of it is laced with a terror I refuse to acknowledge fully. As we finally leave, a hand grazes my lower back and stays there just a second too long. The touch sends a jolt through me. When I pull away, his eyes flash with something I recognize a little too well: hunger. The drive home is a blur. Should I turn up the radio? Hide? Drown out the buzzing in my head? No. The silence matches perfectly with the awful truth. I craved that touch, however reckless, however wrong. Walking in the door, seeing Jason by the grill is jarring. The smell of burgers brings a wave of nausea, not appetite. Damn this normal life I'm trampling all over. Hey, you're just in time. Brought you a beer. Jason beams, waving a spatula. It feels like an accusation. The worst part? I plaster a smile on my face and play the happy wife. Just when I think I've gotten away with it, Sarah's car pulls in the driveway. Of course, she would pick today for a random visit. Sarah's always been too perceptive for comfort. Her hugs are tight, her smile's genuine, but her eyes, they bore holes in you. Like she knows all your messy secrets and is waiting for you to trip up. Today, I can practically feel the X-ray intensity of those eyes on me. You seem, I don't know, different, she says over dinner, and my heart pounds a frantic tattoo in my ears. Does she know? Impossible, right? I laugh awkwardly, forcing down the greasy food that turns to ash in my mouth. They chat about baseball, family gossip, work. The dull drumbeat of life that usually lulls me into a comforting numbness. Tonight, each word is a clanging bell, a reminder of everything I'm destroying. Hours later, as I lie next to Jason, the quiet hum of the air conditioner is no match for the screaming in my head. This is just a taste of the hell to come. Every visit, every phone call, every sideways glance from Sarah will be another twist of the knife. I've trapped myself, and the walls are closing in. The words, "I can't stop thinking about you," hang in the air of my car like a poisonous cloud. They should be deleted, forgotten. My hands shake too much. I shove the phone in my bag, swearing it's the last time. Liar, whispers the voice in my head that's grown too loud lately. The park looks innocent enough in the early morning light. Birds chirp in the trees, a jogger bounces by, the picture of healthy routine. I feel like a walking disease. How could I do this? Right here where Jason and I had picnics in those early, earnest years. Mark appears, suddenly solid amidst the hazy guilt swirling in my stomach. He's less sure of himself now, the bravado replaced with something almost gentle. It makes it worse. This isn't just a tawdry fling, it's messing with someone's heart as well as my own wreck of a marriage. Emily, we shouldn't. He starts, but the words trail off as I move closer, a desperation I can't name pushing me. The kiss hits me like a wave crashing over rocks. Rough, messy, a battle between years of dormant longing and the shrieking voice of reason in my head. Finally, I break away, the sound of my ragged breathing filling the sudden silence. I'm sorry. That was. I don't know what I'm doing, I stammer. Mark steps closer, fingers tracing my jawline. His touch is wildfire, the part of me that craves chaos responding with a jolt. Don't be, he murmurs. We both want this, right? It's a lie, but the truth is uglier. I nod, because admitting out loud that I want to set my life on fire makes me the villain of a story I no longer control. Getting home requires an act of willpower I'm not sure I possess. Each mile blurs, headlights turning into Jason's accusing eyes. Walking in the door, seeing the untouched breakfast plate he left me, is a fresh kind of torture. Hey, where were you? His voice is cheerful, and it's like a knife in my gut. Just errands. The lie falls flat, and he must sense it, because his brow furrows ever so slightly. The ache in my chest isn't just guilt now. It's the knowledge that this is only the beginning of the wreckage. My days are divided into two stark halves. The blazing intensity of stolen moments with Mark, and the gray, suffocating blur of my life with Jason. It's like stepping off a cliff and landing on a feather bed, over and over again. Text messages have become my drug. Each notification is a shot of adrenaline, even when it's something as mundane as, on my lunch break, thinking of you. It's the stolenness, the thrill that I shouldn't be feeling, that makes it addictive. At home, I'm a shell. Conversations with Jason fall flat. His attempts at reconnecting. The vase of roses left on the table, the tickets for a band we both used to love, smother me. They're a constant spotlight on my betrayal. With Sarah, it's worse. Family dinners, where once I could hide in polite chatter, now become minefields. You two seem so distant lately, she says one evening. My eyes meet Jason's across the table. Did he notice the flicker of panic that crossed my face? Just tired. Long week, I manage, but the lie tastes sour in my mouth. It's not just Sarah, though. I'm lying to myself on a minute-by-minute basis. I bake Jason his favorite pie, to make up for being so distant. I linger when he hugs me goodnight, to pretend this still feels like home. Each act of deception compounds, making me hate myself more. Jason sees it, of course he does. He's not an idiot. He doesn't confront me, but the worry in his eyes is its own kind of accusation. The worst part? The guilt doesn't stop me. Each text to Mark, each rendezvous in a parking lot, feels like taking a much-needed breath of air, and I'm drowning. One evening, we're at dinner, just us. The clink of silverware against plates is excruciating in the thick silence. Suddenly, my phone buzzes with that heart-stopping notification sound. Jason looks up, startled. Everything okay? Frantic, I snatch the phone. It's Mark. Stupidly, a picture. Him grinning, a half-eaten sandwich in hand. The caption. Wish you were here. Yeah, just chill. Work stuff, I stammer, deleting the photo with shaking fingers. I shove the phone in my pocket, but the damage is done. His expression, it's not accusing, exactly. Just wounded. That trusting openness he always had, the thing that drew me to him, now looks so fragile. It makes me want to crawl into a hole and disappear. I snap over some stupid thing later, a misplaced salt shaker becoming the fuel for a blazing argument. Jason looks at me, bewildered. It's like he doesn't even recognize the angry stranger I've become. And the terrible thing is, he's right. The anniversary of Jason's father's death dawns heavy and humid. It always brings out this quiet ache in him, a withdrawn sadness I've never known how to reach. There's a tightness in my chest mirroring his own, but mine is born from dread, not grief. Going to visit him later, he mumbles over a bowl of cereal he barely touches. A wave of nausea hits me. Will he find Mark in those old memories along with his dad's ghost? Will this be the day my flimsy house of cards comes crashing down? He spends most of the day in the garage, the kind of project-focused disappearing act he uses to cope. I should help, try to bridge the gulf between us. Instead, guilt and fear keep me frozen, hovering uselessly at the edge of the kitchen. When he comes in, there's dust on his jeans and a strange look in his eyes. Less sadness, more intensity. Did he find what I fear? Let's clean out the attic, he says abruptly. Time we got rid of those old boxes. My insides go icy. The attic, where everything goes to be forgotten. Or, apparently, discovered. The cardboard box feels too heavy, like I'm hauling up the physical weight of all my lies. Inside, it's a jumble of dusty nostalgia, Jason's childhood toys, yellowed photo albums. And then, my heart stops. There, unmistakable, a faded photo. Mark, grinning into the camera, his arm slung casually over a younger Jason's shoulder. It's a college party, I realize sickeningly. How could I have forgotten this? How could I have missed that they knew each other? Jason is right behind me. Care to explain this? His voice is low, almost menacing. I turn to face him. The photo flutters to the floor. It's pointless now, Jason. I start, then stop. There are no words, no excuses. His silence is worse than any shouting. He's not even looking at me anymore. Just staring at the photo, his face hardening into a mask of cold anger. Finally, he speaks. How long? The question cuts through the air like a knife. I want to lie, make it less, minimize it. Instead, the truth spills out, a bitter torrent. He listens, unmoving. Each word must feel like a physical blow. It's more than I deserve, this chance to confess. But it also feels like the slam of the prison door behind me. When I finish, the silence stretches for an eternity. Finally, he turns away, the slump of his shoulders a silent accusation. Leave, he says, his voice hoarse. Just leave for tonight. And with that, my world collapses. I have no idea where to go, what to do. All I know is I have to obey. The truth hangs in the air between us, a toxic cloud. It's worse than I'd even imagined. Not the fury of a man betrayed, which I somehow deserved, but this bone-deep disappointment. Seeing Jason like this, broken where I thought he was strong, is its own special kind of hell. His questions whip through the air. When did it start? How could you? Each one is a knife, yet somehow quieter, more devastating than any yelling. There's a finality to his tone, a sense that the answers don't matter. I am beyond fixing. The sobs I've been choking back explode out of me. I can't bear to see the revulsion in his eyes, can't stomach the accusatory echo of his voice in our once safe home. I run, stumble up the stairs like a wounded animal, the force of my own shame a physical pain. The guest room, it's always been a blank canvas, holding the unspoken promise of a future that never happened. Now, the space mocks me. Tears blur the faded wallpaper, the untouched crib a cruel reminder of the life I've dynamited. Hours pass, or maybe only minutes. Every creak of the floorboards makes me cringe. Finally, I venture out, my footsteps hesitant. Jason sits at the kitchen table, head buried in his hands. The sight cuts me all over again. He looks so small, so defeated. I am a monster for causing this. A strange flicker of something like pity stirs within me. Is this the path forward? Me, the destroyer. Could I be the one to rebuild? Jason, I whisper, hating the tremble in my voice. His head jerks up, his face is ravaged, a decade older than it was this morning. The silence stretches unbearably. He opens his mouth, then closes it. Can we just talk? I beg, because the silence of this shattered kitchen is worse than any words he could say. He doesn't answer, but slowly, he pushes back his chair, a single small movement that contains a glimmer of hope I hardly dare to hold onto. My steps towards that table feel like the longest mile. The beginning of what? I don't know. An ending, for certain. But maybe, just maybe, among the wreckage, the start of something else entirely. The envelope sits on the counter like a bomb. I know what it is before I even open it. Divorce papers. My hands shake as I pick it up, the weight of it far more than just paper and ink. Jason's signature is on the last page. Bold, unwavering. It's the finality of it that breaks me. The tears come hot and fast, staining the legal jargon. This time, the pain is deeper than guilt. This is the harsh, cold reality of the choice I made, the life I detonated. We coexist like ghosts in the days that follow. Half-eaten meals, awkward shuffles in the hallway, both of us avoiding the spaces that used to be ours. I overhear bits of his conversation with Sarah, her voice sharp with anger, his filled with a resignation that echoes in my own chest. My betrayal isn't just ours anymore. The whole damn town knows now. They used to be friendly faces at the grocery store, at Jason's games. Now, their eyes flick away in hushed whispers. The judgment isn't shouted, but I feel it burning my skin all the same. Then there's Mark, or rather, his absence. The texts I send in frantic moments of weakness go unanswered, like stones tossed into a void. Typical. It makes me want to scream and laugh all at once at the ridiculousness of it all. One morning, I wake to an empty house. He's left for work as usual, but the stack of envelopes on the counter is gone. All that's left is the faint impression of his signature and the lingering sting of loss. I sign the papers. My own hand feels like a stranger's. The scratching of the pen against the thick legal paper sounds like nails on a coffin. This is how my old life dies. Not with a bang, but with the quiet surrender of a signature. Pen_spark. But there's a flicker deep down, something beyond the despair. Anger? Resolve? It's faint, but it's there. I won't crawl away and disappear. I've broken things enough already. Sarah shows up unexpectedly. I brace for confrontation, but her face is drawn, her usual sharpness softened. We make awkward cups of tea, the ritual a flimsy attempt at normalcy. He never deserved this, she says finally, and despite myself, there's a flicker of gratitude in me for her brutal honesty. I know, it's all I can manage. To my surprise, her anger shifts, then settles. Her next words are a bucket of ice water to the face. He always settled. Everyone thought he was lucky to have someone like you. But he wanted more. Didn't have the guts to say it. The words ignite something in me. Was Jason as much a victim in this as I was? The idea twists in my gut, a new flavor of betrayal to wrestle with. I find that forgotten job offer, crumpled in a drawer. A relocation, a promotion, a chance at something else. Suddenly, it's too tempting. I make the call, and my own voice surprises me with its newfound determination. The ache is there, always. Not the sharp, crippling grief of the early days, but a dull echo reminding me that some wounds never fully close. Yet, there's a life built around it now. A small apartment that's entirely mine, its messiness a comforting rebellion against my old, perfect suburban life. A job that pays the bills, offers the occasional challenge. Friendships, formed cautiously with the knowledge that trust is an easily shattered thing. News reaches me like an old postcard from a place you never quite forget. Jason's remarried. A quick web search confirms it. Photos of him with another woman, smiling the wide, carefree smile I never saw. A pang hits, surprising in its intensity. Then, a strange sense of relief washes over me. Proof he's found happiness, a sliver of absolution for the hurt I caused. The seaside was never my idea. An impulsive weekend getaway, a search for what, exactly? Serenity, maybe. Still, the sea has always held a brutal honesty that the city lacks. It's fitting, then, that my ghost would find me here. Emily? His voice carries on the sea breeze, hesitant. I turn to see Mark, older, a touch of weariness marring the boyish charm he once wielded like a weapon. The apologies spill out, jumbled, hollow. He explains, or tries to, the cowardice that sent him fleeing those years ago. I listen, not because I care, but because it helps to see him clearly at last. A small, scared man who'd always run from anything real. I'm sorry, he finally manages, those words too little, too late. Me too, I say, and I mean it. Sorry for him, for me, for the messy way choices ripple outward, shaping lives they never intended to. I leave him there, sipping his weak coffee in the fading sunlight. The beach stretches out before me, vast and empty. It's a clean slate, just like my new life had been. Both hold the salty scent of tears, but also the promise of starting anew. My thoughts drift to Jason, to Sarah with her unwavering honesty. The regret remains, a constant companion. But underneath, there's something else. A stubborn spark that got me through the darkest days, a will to survive that was always there, buried deep. I inhale the sea air. It stings, but it's a good kind of pain. As the sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky with streaks of bruised purple and gold, I turn my back on the ghosts. Whatever the future holds, it's mine to face. The first few steps feel tentative, then stronger. I walk towards the unknown, the waves crashing against the shore, a steady rhythm matching the fierce beat of my own defiant